Hey guys, welcome to the lounge. How you all doing? I'm making kind of an unexpected episode because there's been some developments in the cannabis stock news, and those of you who follow this channel, I figured would be interested in that. I'm sure many of you watching are familiar with a stock called Aphria Inc. They are a major Canadian grower, one of the top three or four, no matter how you measure it, entering this big legal recreational market. And they dropped 20% on Monday, which was yesterday. The reason is that there was a presentation made by a well-known short seller regarding some real estate that Aphria bought that he stated had very inflated values. And so he decided to say that this means that Aphria shareholders, the insiders, are stealing money from the pot by making these kinds of purchases. Regardless of how you feel about that, Aphria is a very, very good company as far as growing goes, which is kind of what I'm interested in. So I was surprised to see it drop 20%, but at that point I still didn't buy it because the entire cannabis market has been in a, at least a 2 or 3 or 4 month slump, just as all of the curious investors who just invested when legalization was upcoming kind of get out. But then this morning rolls around and Aphria is down another 20%, bringing it down into like the times 30 earnings range. And the reason it's down another 20% today is partially the news from yesterday is sinking in with many investors and they panic, but also because we're having a really, really rough day on the markets in general. As I look here, it's looking like we're down 2.7% on the S&P 500. That doesn't actually happen every day. That's a serious down day. So Aphria got into the times 30 earnings range, and I thought, man, we're talking about a company that in the very short term could see a doubling or tripling or quadrupling of its earnings. So for it to be down in the times 30 when many cannabis stocks are trading in the times 100 or times 200, that's not bad. So it became attractive enough for me to pick up at that moment. I actually topped off on it. I had some shares from way back in the day. The other interesting cannabis stock related thing is on the main channel for this show, I've mentioned HMMJ, a cannabis ETF that indexes a bunch of the big cannabis companies, including Aphria. Well, that ETF, completely unbeknownst to me, embarrassingly, had begun paying a dividend. I never expected it would start paying a dividend, but that ETF is engaging in lending, which allows it to pay a dividend. So if you really want to invest in cannabis but have a firm rule to never touch anything that doesn't pay a good dividend, HMMJ is now paying 4.3%, which is not too shabby at all, especially considering all the companies listed in it. As far as I know, none of them are paying a dividend as of yet. And as a result of today's terrible market action, that ETF is down over 3%, so I picked up some of that as well. So yeah, I kind of felt bad about picking up all this cannabis-related stock without mentioning it to anybody, so I figured I'd make an off-topic episode. I feel not enough people who follow the main channel care about stocks to make this episode on there. The stock episode kind of bombed on that channel, but I figured you guys might take interest. So if you did, hit that like button and leave a comment or something. And I'll do more videos like this in the future. I will link to those charts, HMMJ and Aphria, in the video description. Otherwise, subscribe and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.